There's a difference between R. Kelly and Robert. R. Kelly's this fun, laughing, loving guy. But Robert is the devil, is the devil, is the devil.
R. Kelly is at the top of the charts, but he may be in for a fall. He was arrested today on 21 counts of child pornography.
Kelly is accused of videotaping himself having sex with an underage girl.
Taking advantage of minors will not be tolerated.
Jurors found him not guilty on all charges.
Robert has said all along he would be cleared of these terrible charges.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Mute R. Kelly! Mute R. Kelly! Mute R. Kelly! Mute R. Kelly!
When I watched this documentary, it really made me sick to my stomach. And these allegations they're not new. These have been very public. But I think what this documentary really did was put faces and voices to these decade-long allegations, sexual abuse allegations. So Bree, can you talk about how this project all came together?
Tamara Simmons, who's one of our executive producers, and Jesse Daniels were contacted by someone that introduced them to the Savages. And the Savages is a family who they've been trying to get their daughter back since 2017. They together sort of put together, the beginnings of what this documentary is, and ended up being. And they came to me with the pitch. And at the time, we had 2 or 3 survivors and 2 sets of parents. I believed it was going to be a really strong 60 or 90-minute documentary. And we ended with 54 participants, so we had 54 people sit down. What we did realize was that in order for the survivors to be heard, to your point of, this is something that's been ongoing for almost 3 decades, that it made more sense to lean into the number because there's real power in numbers. So we did a timeline doc, and we started from 1970 and ended November of 18.
And Kitty, this isn't the first time you've stepped forward with your story, but how did you think that how did this documentary kind of impact you, or being a part of this documentary impact you?
I came forward in September, October of 17, and I did stand alone when I first came forward, and it was a very scary experience to stand alone. There have been rumors flying about, what people had experienced with him before, but like you said, there was never anyone standing firm in a story. There wasn't a face attached to it, so it was hard for people to forgive or forget, Even with me meeting him around that time after the trial, I didn't have anything to stand, I didn't have a reason to not, want to date him or support him. We were still playing his music on the radio, and it was just, people were still open to supporting him. For me, the biggest thing that's happened since coming forward is just the impact that we've made. I never expected it to, be a surge in numbers, with the sexual abuse and domestic violence hotlines, surging over the 3-night period of the documentary, and how many people that it, triggered just watching us talk about all those dark moments. I just wanted to stand in my truth and share it with the world and be fearless, and I never expected it to become what it has.
Can you separate the art from the artist?
I'm forgetting now who said this, and it might have been Nelson George that said this in the documentary. I mean, I think it's different for each individual. I don't think that when people are listening to a song that they like, that they're thinking specifically about the artist. I think they're probably thinking about the moment they heard that song, whether it was at their wedding or a family reunion, or what that song meant to them. So I think that journey is really individualistic.
Kitty, what is justice for you?
Well, first, just being heard, our stories being accepted, and having the platform through Lifetime, allowing us as Black women to come together and be heard, because it's never been done before. So I'm really grateful for them, first of all. And then I've seen people, taking our story serious, and he's had, concerts canceled and dropped from his record label, and of course he's been indicted, and it was because of the documentary and the uproar. Also, just my self-care, my aftercare has been very important. I thought I was okay after I told my story on the documentary, but watching it like the world back and then seeing some of the other women for the first time, it triggered me again. So going back to therapy, and then again, you know, seeing him back in court, having to own up to the things that he's done to people.